How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Great.
Continuamos con esta bonita melodía, algo original de los Texmaniacs.
Por primera vez yo me enamoré bajo de la luna cuando te besé. La noche era fría, te acercaste a mí y con un dulce beso me enamoré de ti. Eres bonita como las flores y yo te adoro sin condiciones, tus ojos brillan como luceros, eres mi amor, como te quiero. Por primera vez yo me enamoré bajo de la luna cuando te besé. La noche era fría, te acercaste a mí y con un dulce beso me enamoré de ti. Eres bonita como las flores y yo te adoro sin condiciones, tus ojos brillan como luceros, eres mi amor, como te quiero. Eso. Eres bonita como las flores y yo te adoro sin condiciones, tus ojos brillan como luceros, eres mi amor, como te quiero. Soy troquero y me gusta ser borracho, soy parrandero y me gusta enamorar. Hago dinero para gastar con mis amigos, en las cantinas no me gusta panterear. Allá en el valle todititos me conocen, allá en Baca voy a gozar del amor. En San Pedrito también tengo una abuelita, es la que me hace que me duele el corazón. Corpus Christi, Laredo y San Antonio, todo se goza de la gloria y la ilusión. En California también tengo una mochila, es la que me hace que me duele el corazón. Soy troquero, soy un triste navegante, soy como la ave que se iría de flor en flor. Con dinero soy feliz con mi volante, no estoy ingreído ni peleo por un amor. Ay, que la aurora es tan verde, que flores tan encendidas. Si piensas abandonarme, mejor quitarme la vida. Alza los ojos a verme, si no estás comprometida. Eres rosa de Castilla, que solo en mayo se ve. Quisiera hacerte un envite, pero la verdad no sé si tiene que entrar en el límite, mejor me separaré.
Muchas gracias. Thank you, queridos amigos. Sí.
Amigos, de nuevo su amigo y servidor El Valdez Agüero, Tex-Mex Acordeones. Oh gosh, you talk about versatility and the greatness of the use of the accordion and the bajo, sexto, Mex, Baca, Texmaniacs. What a wonderful, wonderful, pleasant surprise to the ear.
Oh, thank you, man. First of all, gracias por la oportunidad de estar aquí en el programa Tex-Mex Acordeones. Very honored to be here. We try to do something refreshing, something different, because I grew up playing conjunto music, all my life, and so I got to tour with the Texas Tornadoes for 10 years, and then of course when Doug Sam passed away and then Freddie Fender passed away, there was no more Texas Tornadoes, so I kind of wanted to keep that little edge going, that versatility thing that you just said, and but yet keep the roots of the conjunto, because that's who we are, that's we can't be somebody we're not, because we're conjunto first of all,
What got you initially interested in that genre of music?
My father was an accordion player from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he was popular in the 60s, that in that area, New Mexico, Arizona, and he played a lot to the natives, in the reservations and stuff, and so he inspired the natives to play accordion and bajo too. There's a lot of, and it's called chicken scratch music. And so it's a very popular Walla Walla, out of in Tucson and Phoenix and all in different areas of Arizona. There's a Native American Indians are playing accordion in bajo sexto, So my dad was an influence on that. So when I grew up listening to my dad play, eventually I started playing the accordion first, at 5 years old, and then my brother played the accordion as well, and then I got into the guitar and the bajo sexto eventually, when I saw Flaco Jimenez when I was about 7 years old, and so that's, that I played with my father when I was a kid. I was that kid you'd see on stage and you'd say, "Hey, look at that little kid on the stage,"
Yeah.
And I was 7 years old and I was already playing with my dad in the bars and the cantinas. My mom didn't like it, but my dad was like, he wanted me to play, and plus he needed a bass player or a guitar player or whatever sometimes. Anyhow, but that's how I got started, man. And when I was younger, listening to my dad, he inspired me, and then he took me and my brother, to see Flaco Jimenez play, and then we got really inspired after that, and so me and my brother ended up forming our own conjunto, and we were the only conjunto in New Mexico, in Albuquerque.
Wow.
There was a lot of norteño conjuntos,
Yeah.
With saxophone and norteño, but we were the only Tex-Mex conjunto.
Dice conjunto regional.
Conjunto regional. We were the only ones that were playing, songs de Tony La Rosa, Rubén Vela, Ángel Flores, different Flaco Jimenez, and
El año pasado, last year, we had a very, very interesting guest. A lot of people didn't expect, but El Grupo Maduro from Alice, Texas, René Ramirez. And while we were interviewing René, René alluded to, yes, my dad, Pico Ramirez. He goes, and you can ask Max Baca, because my dad had some influence with Max Baca's choosing the bajo sexto.
Yes. Well, I was inspired to play the bajo sexto, because at first when I saw Flaco play, Oscar Tejas was playing bajo sexto at the time, and that's who really got my attention, because he was real fancy and he did little licks here and there, and then I was listening to like Pico and to Santiago Almeida, Narciso Martinez's bajo player, and Eloy Bernal, Toby Torres, and so I got attracted to the sound, the full sound of the bajo sexto, not necessarily the bajo quinto. I learned the sexto, to the 12 strings, and I started doing the bass on the bajear, the bajeo on the bajo, and so that's how I learned the old style, and so then as time goes on, then you want to do stuff a little different, and that's why we chose to do, like I said, when I played with the Texas Tornadoes, we kind of do stuff like that. And we've sat in and played recordings with Los Lobos, the Lonely Boys, and groups like that. So we try to do modern things with the traditional instruments, with the accordion and the bajo sexto. Flaco Jimenez recorded, with Dwight Yoakam, and he recorded so many
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
I was blessed to. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd record with the Rolling Stones. He's coming, this kid from Albuquerque, New Mexico, playing bajo sexto, and it happened. Thanks to Flaco. They wanted Flaco, and then Flaco said, "Hey, well, He heard the song, and he said, I have my bajo sexto player, Max Baca, and he would fit right in the song." And then they said, "Well, we want him too." So we went to go record, and it came out. Yeah.
It was so great, the names you're mentioning, because yes, you came about when Conjunto, the Conjunto Regional, was making that little transition of being more progressive. As Mexican Americans, which is one of your songs.
Yes.
As Mexican Americans, that we have that influence that we picked up from jazz, we picked up from from psychedelic music, that we pick up from rock, but you, like you said, we do that progressive stuff, but we go back to the traditional.
Yes, because I did grow up listening to the traditional, the pioneers, Narciso Martinez, Valerio Longoria, Santiago Jimenez Sr., was listening to those when I was my dad would, they were playing it in the house. They'd play the albums or the 8 tracks back then, or the 78s, whatever. And I was listening to them as a kid, and then as I got older, I got inspired by the more progressive stuff, like you said, but which would Padrino Bernal, he was real progressive. Esteban Jordan, and stuff like that, and bands like that, and those are the pioneers that created, that took it to the next level, and I mean there was a lot of conjuntos that were inspired by Padrino Bernal.
And eventually the electric guitar.
With
some groups.
Like Los Chachos, that style, the South Texas style, Los Chachos and Los Buenos, Los Únicos, that style that is beautiful, man, and
locally, Henry Zimmerly is one. I was thinking about, at times playing the electric guitar.
I used to see Henry Zimmerly play at the Fronterizo in Lubbock, Texas, in the 70s, so yeah, I got hip to all the, and I was lucky, one of the last, to experience the real traditional, the conjunto pioneers, before they started passing away and stuff. Now there's not too many of those guys left. Flaco Santiago Jimenez Jr., Flaco Jimenez, ya se fue Gilberto Pérez, but there's just a Chano Cadena, there's a, yes, there's a few the pioneers still. One of my all-time favorite conjuntos is Los Monarcas. Los Monarcas, I love those guys, and I used to see them when I was like the Rosenberg, Richmond or Rosenberg, and Pete and Mario, and they're very, I mean they've always stuck to their style. A lot of people, they say, oh, they come in with the new trends and stuff like that, and they want to play and change their style and stuff like that. But these guys have always remained true to who they are, and what and they're masters at what they do. They're just, I love them guys. They're my favorite conjunto, and they're still playing. They still play around, and they're at the Conjunto Festival every year, and the different festivals around Texas and stuff, So.
Dando la alegría a esos corazones.
Ándale, yes.
We wanna primeramente, thank you so very much that we could continue on talking.
Hey man, I'm enjoying this, man. I'm having a good time. Thank you, thank you. Es un honor para mí, man. Thank you.
You got off the stage and coming out here, giving us the time and talking to you. That hopefully this will not be the last time that we do this, pero la invitación siempre, las puertas están abiertas aquí en Tex-Mex Acordeones.
Muchas gracias. And I just want to say one thing, I really admire, all these new groups that are coming out, that are playing conjunto music, and they're really doing a good job, man, and they're because it's very important for us, because we're blessed to play all over the world. Los Texmaniacs, be on Smithsonian Folkways, the record label.
That's what they would have mentioned, world-renowned and Grammy-winning for a very, very, very good reason.
Well, thank you, man. So we always, wherever we go, where we play out of the country, we just got back from Spain, we always play our traditional unplugged, and explain to the people where our music comes from and how it came about, because a lot of people don't know. They just it came from the Germans that settled in Texas and brought over the button accordion, and then we started picking up the accordion, and Narciso Martinez was one of the first, Santiago Jimenez Sr., and added. Then we incorporated the bajo sexto, and that took the place of the accompaniment part of the left side. So it's a good feeling to see these younger groups, younger conjuntos, young kids, man, playing bajo and accordion, and that really makes my heart happy, because that means that we're doing something that's we're taking it around the world, and these younger kids are grasping it and
they're appreciating it.
They're preserving it,
yes.
Preserving our culture, because this is part of our culture.
Yes.
So I really admire that, and it's keep it up, guys, and keep doing it, and just play from your heart, traditional, conjunto, bajo, sexto y acordeón para arreglar el corazón,
Max, muchísimas gracias y que Diosito
Thank
siga
you, Mr.
iluminando tu camino y tu salud.
Oh, thank you.
You're a young guy, pero
I started young. I started young. That's what I started young, man. I was, like I said, I didn't get to finish school, but because I was always playing music, my dad. But I started young, 5 years old. I was already playing with my dad in his conjunto, at 5 years old. So.
You have how many degrees in conjunto musicology?
I just learned from the old school, man. I tried to go to school to take music, and read music and all that. I couldn't grasp it, man. It just couldn't, It just never. I would hear it and then I'd play it, but I couldn't write the notes and all that. I just couldn't, But well, there's some. I guess it's good and it's bad, but it's good because you can't write the feeling. You can't write those feelings.
You can't put that in a note.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that on a note.
So
when I was younger, one time I bumped into David Mares over at San Antonio College. And they, hey David, what's going on? He says, well, taking some theory, and then he just shook his head. So know where you're coming from with that. Yeah,
but it's good, in certain things, But there's nothing like the heart, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where you play it from, the heart.
Thank you,
Y
man.
se siente, se oye,
Gracias.
and more than anything,
Muchas
we
gracias.
fall in love with it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so very much,
Thank
Max.
you. Tex-Mex Acordeones, check it out, guys. Just subscribe to it. Que Diosito lo bendiga.
And with that, mira, me callo la boca.